Hi everyone.
Hi.
It's been a minute.
Yes, it has.
2020 has been showing us flames. But I think these are good flames. Flames to refine us.
Make us grow.
Of 100%. And growth is not easy. It's painful. It's uncomfortable. But it's the best. When it's happening, it's not nice. But when the outcome comes, you're like, it was worth it. So yeah.
This series that we're going to do is a 3-part series, right? And we are going to be talking about breaking unhealthy generational patterns. That's a mouthful.
Right.
But it's basically patterns of behavior that you see from generation to generation. And so, Mami, what could an example of that be?
Okay, so I'll take this interesting. So this is very profound verse in the Bible that says that the fathers have eaten sour grapes and the children's teeth are on edge. Now, whenever I would hear this in church, I was always thinking of, okay, generational curse, you have to pray, so I can live your life. And then you realize that, hey, but your behavior too is not, So then I realized that, sometimes it's actually beyond the spiritual part, so even character, how we behave and how that influences our kids, the more that we are setting. And it's like that thing of the child didn't do anything. You ate the grapes and the kid's teeth are on edge. And so how our behavior influences our children. And one of them could even be with insults. Like for a long time, I thought like, hey, once I'm an adult and I'm a parent, I'm justified to insult my kid if they do something wrong.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want my kids to insult each other. But how do you expect your siblings to know how to handle conflict if you don't know how to handle your own anger, whether it's with your spouse or even with them, because you're only modeling how they should do that. And so that's one of the things I'll say.
Whenever we see depictions of therapy in movies and in the media, one of the things that happens a lot of the time is that you hear the therapist saying, tell me about your mother, tell me about your father, right? Yeah. And people sometimes think that we overemphasize it, but we don't realize the significant impact parenting has on children.
Right.
Our parents did the best that they could with what they knew how. Right. But now that there's this awareness on our part, there's a responsibility on our part to do differently with our children, to do differently in our communities.
Right.
So the conflict management, the insulting kids, for instance, that's one thing I have purpose not to do, to in anger use words of insult on my little girl, right? I can express my frustration, I can express my disappointment to her, but in a healthy way, not in a way that breaks her down, but in a way that uplifts her.
Right. And we see this play out not even with anger, we see that play out with living beyond your means, like having to buy things you don't need or can't afford just so you can keep up appearance that, we have it together, or it could be emotional manipulation.
Yes.
It could be
passive aggressiveness.
Yes. Just so many lies, dishonesty that runs in family, mediocrity. So these little things that we see that produce certain results in our families, in our homes, and we don't understand why. But a lot of them, when we really look within, they start with character, the choice that we are making every day to do better, to be better.
Exactly.
And that is why we wanted to take you guys on this journey.
An example too that I wanted to give was how sometimes when there are issues in a marriage, you go and see your pastor and it's like, oh, my husband or my wife, when we have issues, they open their mouths and they say very terrible things that hurt me to the core. And it's, where did they learn to do this from? Analyzing and realizing that most likely the homes that we grew up in, these are the ways that we saw our parents manage conflict, right? And so now that you are aware of this is the beginning of the journey to doing differently.
100%. And so look out for our coming videos, and then
part 2.
Yes, where we're going to be keeping it very real with you guys.
I'll tell you how she manages conflict, hanging up the phone. I mean, how she used to do that.
See, one of the reasons why we need to have this conversation. All right, guys. So take care and have a wonderful week. Thank you.
Bye.